canon. So today's Stella Luna objective is going to be, I can listen to Stella Luna read aloud and answer to my teacher's think aloud questions by discussing them with someone at home. Okay, so we'll begin. To Burton and Cannon and Nancy Cannon with love. In a warm, sulphury forest, far away, there once lived a mother fruit bat and her new baby. Oh, how mother loved her softly tiny baby. I'll name you Stella Luna, she crooned. Each night, mother bat would carry Stella Luna clutched to her breast as she flew around to search for food. So I can infer that Stella Luna's mom has a very deep and connection with her baby bat. One night, as the mother bat followed the heavy scent of a ripe fruit, an owl spied her. On silent wings, the powerful bird swooped down upon the bats. Dodging and shrieking, the mother bat tried to escape, but the owl struck again and again, knocking Stella Luna into the air. Her baby wings were as limp and useless as wet paper. Down, down she went, faster and faster, into the forest below. So I want you to discuss with someone at home, how do you think the mother felt as her baby was falling down? The dark leafy tangle of branches caught Stella Luna as she fell. One twig was small enough for Stella Luna's tiny feet. Wrapping her wings about her, she clutched the thin branch, trembling with cold and fear. "Mother," she squeaked, "where are you?" By daybreak, the baby bat could hold on no longer, and down, down she dropped. Stella Luna landed headfirst in a soft, downy nest, startling the three baby birds who lived there. Stella Luna quickly clambered from the nest and hung out the sight below. She listened to the babble of the three birds. What is that?" cried Flap. I don't know, but it's hanging from its feet," chirped Flitter. "Shh! Here comes Mama," hissed Pip. Many times that day, Mama Bird flew away, always returning with food and her babies. Stella was terribly hungry, but not for the crawly things Mama Bird brought. Finally, though, the little bat could bear it no longer. She climbed into the nest, closed her eyes, and opened her mouth. Whoop! In dropped a big green grasshopper. Now I want you to think. Do you think Stella Luna is pleased to be eating that grasshopper? Well, I know that she was a fruit bat, and I know that fruit bats like to eat fruits. So I wonder if she's gonna like this grasshopper. Stella Luna learned to be like birds. She stayed awake all day and slept all night. She ate bugs even though they tasted awful. Her bat ways were quickly disappearing. Except for one thing. Stella Luna liked to sleep hanging on her feet. Once when Mama was away, the curious baby birds decided to try it too. When Mama Bird came home, she saw 8 tiny feet gripping the edge of the nest. "Eek!" she cried. "Get back in here this instant!" You're going to fall and break your necks. So as we can see, the birds try to hang upside down like a bat. But do you think Mama Bird was concerned about that? Yes, I'm sure she was. Because she told them to get back in their nest. The birds clambered back into the nest, but Mama stopped Stella Luna. You're teaching my children to do bad things. I will not let you back into this nest unless you promise to obey all the rules of this house, she said. Stella Luna promised. She ate bugs without making faces. She slept in the nest at night. She didn't hang her feet. Stella Luna began to behave and act as good as a good bird should. So now Stella Luna has to change her ways. Let's see what happens. All the babies grew quickly. Soon the nest became crowded. Mama Bird told them it was time to learn to fly. One by one, Pip, Flitter, Flap, and Stella Luna jumped from their nest. Their wings worked. I'm just like them, thought Stella Luna. I can fly too. So now, I think Stella Luna started to feel comfortable around these birds because they found something they have in common. They could all, what? Fly. Pip, Flitter, and Flap landed gracefully on a branch, and Stella tried to do the same. So let's see what's going to happen next. How embarrassing! It looks like she's struggling to stay on the branches like the other birds. I will fly all day, Stella Luna told herself. Then no one will see me, how clumsy I am. The next day, Pip, Flitter, Flap, and Stella Luna went flying far from home. They flew for hours, exercising their wings. The sun is setting, warned Flitter. We had better go home, or we'll get lost in the dark, said Flap. But Stella Luna had flown far ahead and was nowhere to be seen. The three anxious birds went home without her. So what do you think is going to happen next to Stella Luna? Go ahead and discuss with somebody at your home. Do you think the birds are going to be worried about her? Let's find out. All alone, Stella Luna flew and flew until her wings were ached and she dropped into a tree. I promised not to hang on my feet, Stella Luna sighed. So she hung by her thumbs and soon she fell asleep. She didn't hear the soft sound of the wings coming near. Oh no, what do you think that could be? You think she's back in danger? I wonder who they are. Let's find out. Hey, a loud voice said, why are you hanging upside down? Stella Luna's eyes opened wide. She saw a most peculiar face. I'm not upside down, you are, Stella Luna said. Yeah, but you're a bat. Bats hang on their feet. You're hanging on your thumbs. So that makes you upside down, the creature said. I'm a bat, and I'm hanging by my feet. That makes me right side up. Stella Luna was confused. Mama Bird told me I was upside down. She said I was wrong. Wrong for a bird maybe, but not for a bat. So now Stella Luna's confused. She doesn't know whether she should hang upside down or hang from her thumbs or her feet. More bats gathered around to see the strange young bat who behaved like a bird. Stella Luna told them their story. You ate bugs? Stuttered one. You slept at night? Gasped another. How very strange, they all murmured. Wait! Let me look at this child. A bat pushed through the crowd. What do you think that could be? And an owl? Did an owl attack you? She asked. Sniffing Stella Luna's fur, she whispered, You're Stella Luna. You're my baby. So I infer that this could be Stella Luna's family. Let's see. You escaped the owl? Cried Stella Luna. You survived? Yes, said Mother Bat as she grabbed her wings around Stella Luna. Come with me and I'll show you where to find the most delicious fruit. You'll never have to eat another bug as long as you live. So how do you think Stella Luna's feeling right now? And how do you think her mom's feeling? After all this time, she finds her baby bat that she once lost in the beginning of the story. But it's nighttime, Stella Luna squeaked. We can't fly in the dark or we'll crash into trees. We're bats, said Mother Bat. We can see in the darkness. Come with us. Stella Luna was afraid, but she let go of the tree and dropped into the deep blue sky. Stella Luna could see. She felt as though the rays of the light shone from her eyes. She was able to see everything in her path. So all this time when she lived with the birds, she thought they couldn't see at night. So now Stella Luna found something different. Now she knows she could see at night. Soon the bats found a mango tree and Stella Luna ate as much fruit as she could. I'll never eat another bug as long as I live, cheered Stella Luna as she stuffed herself full. I must tell Pip, Flitter, and Flap. So do you think she's happy? Because now she's able to eat fruit and not those nasty bugs that she had to eat? The next day, Stella Luna went to visit the birds. Come with me and meet my bat family, she said. Okay, let's go, agreed Pip. They hang by their feet and they fly at night and they eat the best food in the world, Stella Luna explained to the birds on the way as the birds flew along among the bats. As the birds flew among the bats, Flap said, I feel upside down here. So the birds hung by their feet. Wait until dark time, Stella Luna said excitedly. We will fly at night. When the night came, Stella Luna flew away. Pip, Flitter, and Flap leaped from the tree to follow her. I can't see anything, yelled Pip. Neither can I, howled Flitter. Hey, shrieked Flap. They're going to crash, gasped Stella Luna. I must rescue them. Stella Luna swooped about, grabbing her friends in the air. She lifted them to a tree and the birds grasped a branch. Stella Luna hung from the limb above them. So she was rescuing, because remember, birds can't see at night. We're safe, said Stella Luna. Then she sighed. I wish you could see in the dark too. We wish you could land on your feet, Flitter replied. Pip and Flap nodded. They perched in silence for a long time. How can we be so different and feel so much alike? Mused Flitter. And how could we feel so different and be so much alike? Wondered Pip. I think it's quite a mystery, Flap chirped. I agree, said Stella Luna. But we're friends, and that's a fact. So what do you think the moral of the story is? What is the lesson learned? Well, I think that even though we're all different, we always find something inside of us that makes us alike. And in this story, Stella Luna, which was a bat, and the birds family that adopted her were birds. Even though they had different, ways of living, at the end they found out that they all were all the same inside. They all cared for each other. This was a beautiful book. Okay, so now that we read this book, we are going to do a summary. Okay, so this is going to be the next activity for Stella Luna. It says, my objective says, I can write a summary on Stella Luna by showing my somewhat wanted but so strategy for the fiction story and write it on a paper to share with someone at home. Okay, so that's the book we read. And what you're going to do right now is you're going to fold your paper into 4 sections. And then now we're going to label each section with our strategy. So if you want, go ahead and draw the lines to break each section of the strategy. So the first box is going to say someone. Wanted. Somebody. Wanted. But. And so under somebody, you're going to ask yourself, who was the main character? And you could label that in a different color. Okay. And then for wanted, you're going to ask yourself, what did the main character want? Okay. And then for the but, you're going to ask yourself, what was the problem? And finally, for the so, you're going to ask yourself, so how did the character solve the problem? So that's where your solution. Okay. All right, so let's think back. Who was the main character? So we're gonna write Stella Luna is a young fruit bat who fell out of her mother's embrace when an owl attacked and she fell into the forest below. Okay. Wanted. So we're gonna write, what does she want? What does Stella Luna want? Well, we know that she wanted to be where? Home with her mom. Stella Luna wanted to be home with her mom. But, so this is the problem. A mother bird allowed her to live with them. Or you could say a mother bird allowed Stella Luna to be part of their family if she eats bugs and doesn't hang on her feet. Because remember, throughout the story, you know, the mama bird kept on repeating to Stella Luna, you need to stop hanging from your feet. So now we're gonna ask, how did the characters solve the problem? So one night, Stella Luna and the birds went flying. One day, Stella Luna and the birds went flying at night. And she continued flying while the birds went back home, right? And that's when she found a group of what? Bats. And we know that those groups of bats ended up being her what? Family. So at the end, she ended up being with her own family of bats. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna read it all together. And then you at home are going to write a paragraph using your somebody wanted, but, and so. And remember, on a summary, we're just stating the main points, okay? So somebody, Stella Luna is a young fruit bat who fell out of her mother's embrace when an owl attacked and fell into the forest below. So she wanted to be home with her mother, but a bird mother allowed her to be part of her family if she eats bugs and doesn't hang on her feet. So one day, Stella Luna and the birds went flying, and she continued to fly. Even though the birds flew back home, she then found a group of bats who ended up being her family. And this is our summary for Stella Luna. So what you're gonna do in the back of that sheet is write a paragraph using your someone wanted but so strategy. Thank you.